Okay, so I'm really fortunate to be sat here with two amazing veterans from Bollywood, Divya ji and obviously Atul ji. Welcome to London. How are you finding the experience?
Lovely. It's always lovely to come to London. It is one of my very favorite places. But it's too freezing cold.
Unfortunately, you've come at the time when it is a little bit cold. And what about yourself?
I'm okay with cold. I'm quite tolerant of cold, like people. So
Lovely. Okay, so obviously we're here to talk about the upcoming film. Tell us your own version of what you think the film is.
I think the film is about a global issue more than the people in it. What they stand for, what they always have fought for. I think this film is just trying to take that subject to more and more people, rather than the people in itself. So I think that is what the film Gul Makai is for me.
And what about for yourself, Divya?
I kind of agree with that. It is more of what the film stands for. And of course, I think Malala stands for somebody who believes in her dreams and who's kind of led the path for many more to follow. And I guess this film is just about celebrating that, celebrating a life which is worth celebrating. And I just hope it reaches many, many people because there's no other medium stronger than a film.
Absolutely.
And people get impacted by just watching something. So when they see a life as celebrated and as inspiring as that, I think it's going to have done what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's obviously a feature, it's a documentary, it's turned into a feature film, it's attracted a lot of press. Have you yourselves personally faced any negativity in taking on a film that it's quite a human topic, isn't it?
I personally didn't face any negativity for it. In fact, people have been, oh, you're doing Malala, oh wow, that's something to be so proud of. That's what I've heard, and I mean it, not even a single negative review. No.
Fantastic. What about yourself, Atul?
Yeah, I think, as I said, this film, the characters are beyond any nation, beyond any religion, and it's kind of a problem which many of the countries do have. It is not only about educating girls; it's also about oppressing women, and to make people aware, especially the males around aware that you cannot treat half of your citizens of this world as second citizens. that's not right. That's not correct. And that's why I think there have to be many ways to do this, and making a film is just one of it.
Fantastic. So obviously in normal Bollywood films you have 3-4 cameras, sometimes maximum of 5. Some of the scenes that you shot, Divya, you had 8 cameras. How was that experience for you?
It wasn't some of the scenes, it was all of the scenes.
Was it all every scene?
And it was about
Okay.
10 cameras. And so it was like very intriguing for me when I went on the set and I was told you have to do the entire scene in one go, like you do theatre.
Yeah.
And it's in fact tougher for the actors because you have to like really memorize everything. Otherwise you're at ease, like you're going to do one line from this angle, one from the other angle. But here you had to do everything in one go. Plus you do not know where. He was very smart. He wouldn't really tell you exactly. I mean, sometimes you of course could see the cameras, but sometimes when they were distant you wouldn't know where the cameras are. So sometimes it's nice to be caught off guard. It is amazing to use that kind of a thing to get the most natural bit from your actors, because when you're aware of, sometimes, I mean, we're used to it now, but sometimes still it's lovely to not know where the camera is. So we're so used to giving our facings and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So here's something you're so not conscious of. You do not know where it is and where you're being caught. And you just act the way you're being in real life. So that kind of really helps as well. Interesting process. You finished the work much earlier, but it was difficult.
Yeah. And did you find it challenging having so many cameras around you when you're not being paparazzi'd?
See, the most interesting thing about this camera setup is that as an actor, you just cannot imagine how the scene is going to look like ultimately. because when you're shooting with one or two camera setup, you generally know that which shot would be placed after what, and everything.
You
The
have an
scene is
idea.
divided by in shots and all that. Here you have no clue how the final scene is going to look like, because the director has 10 full takes from different angles. So there's immense number of possibilities of how the director will finally edit the scene, and that, I think, kind of unsettles you in the beginning, because as an actor you're used to kind of imagine how generally the scene will look like. But after one overcomes that unsettling thing, I think there is a different kind of dimension that is added as a film actor, especially, and having done theatre for a long time. As Divya said, it's kind of a very interesting combination that one is looking forward to.
So it sounds like you enjoyed the experience through the challenges.
It's a good marriage between theatre and cinema, I guess, to have a 10 camera setup. So you're preparing like a theatre actor and you're shooting it.
Fantastic. So obviously you did a film together which was Delhi 6 a little while ago, and now you're back here for this. How's the journey been between Delhi 6 and
with
Gul
him?
Makai?
You're the first one.
2 more films in between.
I'm going back to the first one because obviously you've had a journey together between.
But
so
you're the first one asking us this question.
Yes.
I'm glad you did.
Wonderful.
No, seriously. Sometimes you instantly get along with somebody and you instantly feel comfortable, and somebody's watching over your back. Acting is all about that.
Yeah.
You sometimes meet actors who only probably are thinking what their lines are and how they're going to be, and then you have an actor who's seeing the entirety of it and saying, okay, he's being helpful. And that's what I kind of noticed most about Atul, that he was not only into his scenes, but also just seeing the entire scene in its entirety. And Dilli Che was a very complicated film, difficult film to shoot, and both of us had very difficult roles, and we were poles apart, and he's a shy guy, so I think I chat too much, I talk a lot, so I think that was like a good combo. One of us needs to listen and the other one needs to talk. But he is somebody I think I really look up to. He's somebody who's very grounded and gives amazing advices. And he's somebody I would always count on as a friend, as a co-actor, and when I know he's in a film for me, I'm comfortable.
You're comfortable.
Absolutely.
What about for yourself?
You better praise me.
She said lovely stuff about you. So.
See, very few times do I call when a script comes to me and when they tell me that these are the actors acting in it, and very, very, very few times do I call someone that, this film is being offered to you as well, so how to go about it, kind of stuff. And it happens with Divya. We talk to each other and we talk about the script and all that, and I think this happens because of great confidence in each other. Not only as people, as person, but as artists as well. As to because we have not sat on a table and chatted about our aesthetics or about what we like and what we don't like and how, but it's generally the understanding of each other that gives you a kind of comfort to talk about things. And that's certainly with Divya. Just now when we were traveling from Mumbai to London, and about 10 hours journey, and we were sitting and chatting all the while, and let me tell you, it's not always that happens with me. Definitely
Really?
not with me. As she said, I don't talk much, but with her I've always been talking, so probably
So I should feel really
it's a
honoured that I'm
role-
getting so much.
the role reversal because of her.
So she's brought out the chatty side in you, and you've brought out the shyer side. So speaking, sort of following on from what you're saying about aesthetics and things like that, when Amjad was casting and when he was putting the cast together, he wanted a strong resemblance to the physical, realistic aspect from the real book and the real story to the real life characters. So how did you manage to connect emotionally to the reality of where it stemmed from?
See, for me, it has been a journey even without the film, in the sense that I have been following Malala and Zia Saab for a long time. From the first BBC interview that Malala had given, and you can see Zia Bhai as well in that. It's an iconic interview because of which the world got to know about Malala. So I have been following her since then. I remember I had posted that YouTube video on my Facebook. So for me, I think the connect was already there when the film was offered to me. So it was only the next step, as if to portray the character and portray the lives which I so admired, and kind of in an indirect way support the cause which I so admire. So it was just another step forward in the direction.
Yeah. So you had an emotional connection from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What about for yourself, Divya?
I don't know about the physicality of it. We did try coming close to it vis-a-vis the makeup and everything, but I think emotionally, for them, it's been like a very trying journey. It's been difficult, and for that little brief time when you're portraying somebody, you become that.
Yeah.
And to be in somebody's shoes and feel exactly what they felt at that given time is a trying journey. It is an emotionally shaking journey. And so yeah, I do think for that brief period I did feel how the mother, how Malala, how the father, they felt and what they went through. And I mean, of course there's been immense respect, but whilst doing it and being at such close quarters, salutes to them for emerging the way they did in spite of all that.
Yeah, you've got an amazing year lined up. You've got some great films coming out. You've got something coming out with Anil Kapoor and a few things like that. So tell us a little bit more about what you've got, what we can expect from Divya Ji in the next year or two.
Well, this year has been good. This year was National Award. This year was Cannes Festival. This year was Fanne Khan with Anil Kapoor. There was Manto with Nawaz. There was Blackmail with Irfan.
Yeah.
There were 2 short films that did exceedingly well. And so this coming year also, I think I begin with Malala. What better than coming for a United Nations screening and being a part of a film that I'm immensely proud of. And then there's a film for Netflix I'm doing, which is called Music Teacher. It's a romantic film with Manav Kaul, and it has music by R.D. Burman. I mean, all the songs that I've literally grown on, when they're picturized on you, it's immensely enjoyable, and it feels really lovely. And then there is a psychological thriller I'm doing with Arshad Varsi and Juhi Chawla. And after very long, I'm playing a character that is vulnerable, that is dependent on somebody. And I'm glad I did, because everyone now kind of, thinks Divya is a strong role.
Yes.
So it was lovely to go back to doing something that you used to do at a certain given time. And then there is this political thriller I'm doing called Abhi To Party Shuru Hui Hai. It's Anubhav Sinha's film, and it's on very Jaane Bhi Do Yaro-ish zone, witty, satirical, and some excellent actors that we have in the country are all there together.
Amazing.
And so it's been fun just trying to outwit each other, outdo each other, and in that competition, having a blast of a time doing that film. And another of my very favorite directors is Nitin Kakkad, who made a film called Filmistan, which won the National Award. So I'm doing another film with him, which is called Ram Singh Charlie. And then there's a children's film called Jhalki, which is made by this guy called Brahmanand Singh, who made a documentary on Jagjit Singh and R.D. Burman, which went really well. So yeah, it's a good lineup of films with different roles, and I'm enjoying that. I'm trying not to really repeat myself in doing what I'm doing.
Sounds like you've got an amazing year lined up. I'm going to take you back into yesteryears, and then I'll give you my answer. What would you say is one of your most momentum, favourite films that you did that's close to your heart, for whatever reason it may be?
See, as I say, I mean, you choose a film because you want to do that film, and of course the journey, even if the film does well or not does well, is lovely, and you have some special experiences. But saying that, I think one of my finest experiences that I really enjoyed doing a film was Dilli Che, for the sheer fact that it was an entire crew of people I was extremely fond of, going together on an outdoor, which was about a month and a half in winters, bonding together, singing together, having our own little bungalows to us, living literally. I never had my life stop and looking at a squirrel on a free day. I was like, hey, life has stopped. So they said, this is what you need to enjoy. And that's what Rakesh Mehra taught me. I really enjoy working with him. He directs you and you don't even get to know you've been directed. So, in fact, meeting Atul, meeting Rishiji, meeting Wahida Rahman, meeting Abhishek, Omji, everyone was like a lovely, lovely time we had together. And my role was something that I got after saying no to about a zillion films post Veer Zara. So it was something that I really looked forward to. And I think my look in the film, the entire attitude that I had. So I had all these men in the film teaching me how to abuse, teaching me expletives. Hey, there's a new one for you. Come on. So
you were in your element.
So yeah, it was. I think I really thoroughly enjoyed doing that film.
Fantastic. Well, I was going to say Veer Zara is probably one of my favourite memories of you. Probably because for me, the character. The story, almost everything about Veer Zara.
I enjoyed that film a lot too. Thanks to Yash Uncle, of course. But the bestest time I had was with Shah Rukh. I think he's one of the most charming co-actors to have. Very helpful, and he would just laugh it out, a serious scene as well. And I didn't know that I finished the film enjoying it so much.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah.
And same question back to you, but I'm going to start with the fact that when you did Rang De Basanti, and and I don't know if you remember it, but it's a scene that I forever remember, where you're going to apologise, and there could have been a whole long-winded dialogue, and you literally just looked at the character, into that moment. You were so in the scene, and you just said, "I'm sorry," and it was just so epic. It stands out for me a lot. So that's probably one of my favourite scenes and films for you. What would you say is yours?
No, this is a very difficult question all the time. But different films teach you different things, and you remember different films for different reasons. So it's very difficult to pick any one film or one role.
But if you had to say one that was close to your heart because it meant something, what would you? And I don't give up easily.
No, it's that's what I mean. It's not all the time very easy. To explain it to others why a particular film is close to your heart, and people might not, remember that film even, but as an actor you do remember it, and you have gained so much from the film. So lots of films,
Can't pick
all
one?
of them. No.
I tried. I tried. Any particular scenes that were close to your heart in any particular film?
No. The same.
The same answer.
Same question, same answer.
Okay. Obviously, this was Omji's last film as well, working with you guys. How has that experience been for you?
No, we didn't have scenes with him. I didn't have, and of course, the family didn't have.
I was going to say, but I mean,
the family. No, it's a completely different thing, and we are not going to reveal it right now. But we didn't work with him in this film. Yeah.
Fair enough. And any last thoughts on what we've got coming up, expecting from you in the next year, maybe?
Okay. There's a couple of films which will be coming up. One is called Jungli. It's with the director Chuck Russell, who directed The Mask with Jim Carrey. So he's doing a Hindi film which is called Jungli. It's a fantastic action film which he's doing. Manikarnika is releasing tomorrow. And there are a couple of very interesting shows that I'm doing for web, for Netflix and Amazon each. And I'm really looking forward to them. I'm right now shooting for them back to back.
Fantastic. So just on a closing note, one of your most memorable memories of working with Divya, whether it's a nutcut adai or whether it's one of those irritating habits, something that I'm going to come back to you and ask you the same question back. So something that our viewers or our readers won't know, because obviously you guys spend a lot of time together on sets. So something
it's
about Divya that other people
creating
won't know.
the scene with her. Basically, we when we read the scene and when we create it right from the lyrics, I do remember, and it's always a pleasure, and I always look forward to when the scene is given to me or the script is given to me that it will be with Divya. And it's very difficult to find co-actors with whom you can actually kind of organically create a scene. So I think for every scene, that is the fondest memory of Divya for me.
Fantastic. And yourself? And you can be a little bit more open with your answer.
I'm just thinking the naughty things, because naughty things are only done by me.
But he didn't tell us.
No, the thing is, what's interesting is that he and I are actually, we gel very well, but we are very different people. So, when you do a scene, you kind of bring two different perspectives to it, and they kind of gel well together on the same table. So we are on the same page, bringing in two different points of views, and then we agree to agree. So that, I think, is a fun factor with him. And I think he's basically a very simple guy. So I kind of get very intrigued, and I enjoy that simplicity that he has. It's very rare to find.
It is.
So all the fun factor, the masti factor, I think I chew his brains a lot. That you have to ask him how irritating or how lovely that is. But for me, I think I've really cherished his simplicity and his being grounded. And as I said, he's some, I must tell you this thing. Yes.
Now we're getting to it.
Now telling me.
I love how your eyes lit
The
up.
first time I told him, why don't you just come home for lunch? Now it's a Punjabi household, and it is blasphemy to expect somebody coming with his dabba.
Oh God.
Okay, so he comes to my house and I say, "Ye kya layo?" And he says, "Mera khane ka dabba." I said, "So what were you coming to?" He opened his dabba and I ate from it in my own house. This is Atul Kulkarni for you.
In fact, you're invited to dinner at my house anytime. Lunch, dinner, breakfast, kuch bhi chalega.
She's just skipping a very important point in that.
Now we're getting more information. Now we're getting into the interview.
Is that I eat my dinner very early, which is at 6:30 in the evening. And when you are going to someone's house for dinner, you can't expect them to the food be prepared at 6:30, especially if it's a Punjabi house. So
But in a Punjabi house, you can ask, I'm hungry, go get it. A paratha is always ready, right?
The paratha is always
He
ready.
just
There's always some form of
underestimated my
roti.
skills as a friend and as a
no,
Punjabi.
so my habits are eating habits are so odd that I feel embarrassed to ask people
I'm
that
still in shock. And after that, he's never come home.
What was in the dabba? I'm intrigued.
Oh, it was a healthy food, yeah. It was like, okay, मतलब मेरे पराठे, राजमा चावल सब दूर रह गए ना.
You're eating healthy foods.
Yeah.
Did you eat after he left?
Of course.
Of course. That's a true Punjabi. Okay, guys, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything you want to add to this interview?
I think it was fun. Thank you.
Yeah?
Thank you.
Wonderful.
It's so lovely to do some fun.